I should have known something was off when my parents set the table with wine glasses and napkins folded like a hotel brunch. This wasn't just a casual family dinner. This was a setup. But I didn't see it right away. No, and my mom texted saying, "We'd love to have you over this weekend. Just us. Simple dinner. Nothing fancy." I actually smiled. Things between us had been complicated for a while. So maybe, just maybe, they wanted to reconnect, rebuild, be a family again. Spoiler alert, they didn't. I showed up at 6 p.m. sharp with a bottle of wine and a tiny hope in my chest that this would be a good night. My childhood home looked the same porch light, same flower pots, same doorbell that played that weird chime. But when I walked in, I swear the air felt tighter. Like even the walls were waiting for something to happen. "You look great," my mom beamed, hugging me a little too tightly. My dad grinned like a salesman. "Come on in. We've got your favorite tuna roast chicken and lemon pie." I should have turned around, but I didn't. I smiled, played along, sat down, and listened as they asked all the right questions about work, life, rent, health. Except none of it felt real, like they were checking boxes. Not long into dinner, my mom casually said, "Oh, and there's just one tiny thing we'd love your help with after dessert. Just some paperwork." That should have been the second red flag. But I laughed and said, "Sure," because I was still stuck in that habit of being the agreeable daughter. We finished eating. My dad poured coffee. My mom brought out the pie. And then, they brought out the folder. A thick manila envelope, sealed, with my name scribbled across it in my dad's all-caps handwriting. "Don't worry," he said, waving a hand like it was no big deal. "It's just about the house. We've been doing some financial restructuring. Just sign a couple of things so we can move forward. Nothing scary." I opened the folder. The first line on the first page stopped me cold. "Transfer of deed primary ownership." I blinked. "What? Is this?" My mom leaned in like a teacher helping a confused student. "Remember a few years ago when we moved the house into your name? Just for tax purposes?" "Yeah, you said it was symbolic," I replied, my voice already going cold. "It wasn't," my dad said bluntly. "We gave you full legal ownership. Now we need it back." Just like that. No warning, no conversation, no, "Hey, how do you feel about this?" I looked at them, my parents, the people who raised me, the people who now wanted me to sign the house, their house, my house back over to them like it was a library book. "Why now?" I asked. "What's the rush?" They hesitated. Then my mom said, "We're looking at taking out a loan, using the house. The bank won't approve it unless it's under our names again." "A loan?" I echoed. "For what?" "It's not important," my dad snapped. "You're not involved in our finances." "Except I am," I said, holding up the deed. "You made me part of it the second you handed this over." My mom reached for my hand. "Sweetheart, this isn't something to get dramatic about. It's just a signature. Just a formality." There it was again. Just a formality. Like I hadn't been lured into this dinner under false pretenses. Like they hadn't prepared a meal and poured wine and smiled and asked about my life just so they could butter me up and drop a document in front of me like a trap door. "Did you ever plan to ask me?" I said quietly. "Or was this whole thing always about getting what you wanted?" My dad's smile vanished. "We didn't think you'd be so ungrateful." "Ungrateful?" I repeated, nearly laughing. "You're asking me to sign over legal property under the pretense of dessert and family bonding and I'm ungrateful?" My mom stiffened. "We made this home. We built it. It was never yours." I stood up, heart pounding. "You're right," I said. "It's not mine. But legally, it is. And you gave it to me without explaining what that meant. Now you want it back. And you think I'll just smile and go along with it?" My dad shoved his chair back. "Fine. If you want to throw away everything we've done for you, go ahead. We see what matters to you now." "Yeah," I said, gathering my things. "So do I." I left the pie. I left the coffee. But I took the folder. Because I needed to see just how deep this thing went. What else were they hiding? Because something told me the house was only part of it. I sat in my car for almost an hour with that folder in my lap, staring at the signature line like it might jump up and explain itself. The papers were cold, transactional, and disturbingly thorough. Page after page of legal language, all funneled toward one thing: transferring the house back into my parents' names. No mention of me, no mention of protections. Not even a clause that allowed for discussion. Just, sign here. I called a friend of mine, Maya. She's a junior attorney, and asked if she had 5 minutes to glance at something. I didn't even finish my sentence before she said, "Come over, bring the documents, and wine." That night, she spread the pages out across her kitchen table and read in silence for a while. Then she looked at me and said, "They were going to screw you over." My stomach dropped. "What do you mean?" She pointed to a paragraph near the back. "See this? If you'd signed, not only would the deed transfer, but any future equity, sale rights, or rental income tied to the house would be considered theirs, entirely, retroactively. You'd be giving up more than the title. You'd be giving up everything." I laughed. But it wasn't a happy laugh, it was that kind of shocked, low, "you have to be kidding" me laugh. "So they didn't just want the house," I said. "They wanted to erase that I ever had anything to do with it." "Exactly," Maya said. "And they clearly didn't expect you to actually read any of this." I felt sick, angry, but mostly sad, because the worst part wasn't that they tried to trick me. It's that I knew they thought they were right, that in their minds this was justified, that I was just the ungrateful daughter who didn't understand how hard it was for them. I didn't sleep that night. I sat on my couch in the dark, folder still in hand, flipping between memories of childhood and the cold facts of now. Every birthday, every scraped knee, every night I cried on my mom's lap was, all of that just currency to them. The next morning, I got a text from my dad. "We hope you took the papers with you. Just sign and drop them off. No drama, okay?" No drama. That was rich. I didn't respond. Instead, I went back to the house. Not to yell. Not to accuse. Just to hear it from them. I needed to know why. My mom answered the door and looked surprised. "You came back?" she asked. "I thought you needed time." "I have one question," I said, walking past her into the kitchen. "Why now?" She looked at me, then away. "Your father's health hasn't been great." "So it's about inheritance?" I pressed. "No," she said quickly. "Wellies. But it's more than that. We don't want you to make a mess if something happens to us." "A mess?" I repeated. "You don't trust me. We don't trust you to be prepared," she snapped. "You never liked responsibility. You never liked owning things. You run from it." I stared at her. "You're right," I said. "I don't like owning things when they come with strings attached and emotional manipulation disguised as family." She flinched. "We gave you the house because we thought you'd do the right thing. And now, you mean you gave me the house expecting I'd give it back when you asked?" Silence. "You never actually let it go," I said. "You just parked it under my name until it was convenient for you." Then I turned to my dad, who had walked in halfway through. "Was this your idea?" He shrugged. "It was always our house. You just held the pen." "Then why did you hide it behind pie and small talk?" He didn't answer. "You could have just asked," I said softly. "You could have just had an honest conversation." "Would you have said yes?" my mom asked, almost bitter. I didn't hesitate. "Number. But I would have respected you more." I left again. This time, there was no folder, no hugs, no pretending, just a quiet understanding that whatever we were before whatever trust remained had cracked down the middle, and that crack was growing. A week went by without a word from them. No texts, no calls, no emails, just silence. The kind of silence that doesn't feel peaceful, it feels like something is building, like the storm is still coming. I kept the folder on my desk like a trophy I never wanted. I didn't sign it. I didn't rip it up either. I just let it sit there, a reminder of how easily love can turn into leverage. Then one night, I got a phone call. Not from my mom, not my dad. It was from my Aunt Me Dad's sister, whom I hadn't spoken to in years. Her voice was shaky. "I heard what happened," she said. "I'm sorry. I was caught off guard. How did you?" "They told your cousin, and you know how family talks." I sighed. "Of course. I'm calling because I think you should know something," she said. "About the house." My chest tightened. "What?" "That house. It was never really theirs." I blinked. "What are you talking about?" Your grandmother left it to your father and I jointly, years ago. But when I moved out of state, I told him he could live in it, manage it, do what he wanted with it, but we agreed it would always remain a shared asset. So legally, he only owns half? Not anymore, she said quietly. 3 years ago, I signed my half over to him, on one condition, that if he ever decided to transfer or sell the house, it would go to you, not your sister. Not me, not anyone else. You. It was supposed to be your security. A kind of apology from the family. I sat down slowly, stunned. Why didn't anyone tell me? Because your parents never expected to actually honor it. They figured if it stayed in your name for a bit, they could eventually talk you into handing it back. That's why they transferred it to me for tax purposes, I whispered. Exactly, she said. They thought they could outsmart the promise. But they forgot one thing. You're smarter than they think. I stared at the folder again, but this time with different eyes. What they tried to do wasn't just manipulation. It was a violation of a promise made before I even knew it existed. A week later, I sent them an email. No emotion, no argument, just facts. I told them I knew the legal history of the house. I told them about the conversation with my aunt, and I told them I would not be signing anything. I ended the message with one line. If you want to talk to me in the future, don't bring papers, bring truth. A few hours later, my dad replied with a single sentence. You made your choice. And he was right. I had. For the first time, I chose not to fold, not to shrink myself to keep the peace. I chose the messy, complicated, painful path of protecting my own peace, even if it meant disappointing the people who raised me. Weeks turned into months. We didn't speak. Birthdays passed quietly. The holidays came and went. I kept waiting for the sadness to hit me harder, but it never did. There was a strange kind of calm in the distance. And then, one day, I got a card in the mail. Handwritten, no return address. Just a short note inside. We don't agree with how you've handled this, but we know why you did. If the house means more to you than family, then keep it. Just remember, walls don't love you back. I stared at it for a long time. I could have been angry. I could have written back. But instead, I placed it in the same folder with the unsigned documents. A reminder, not of what they did, but of what I survived. And if you're listening to this, wondering if you're a bad person for setting boundaries with people who raised you, let me tell you, you're not. Sometimes the hardest decision you'll ever make is to stop letting love be used against you. The house is still mine, but it's not the walls that matter. It's the space I carved for myself inside them. The safety, the clarity, the freedom, and no signature will ever take that away again.